videoing. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of 8-Bit Retro ReFix. On today's episode we've got two Commodore 64's from Tony. One's got a little bit of a garbly screen, the other one's got the old black screen. So what we've got here at first is this one here. Looks quite tatty, as you can see on the images. Quite faded away. I do believe that he's going to restore the case, as he was telling me when I was speaking to him. It does have the long board inside it. What have we got on the back? We've got a service sticker. Doesn't give me any dates on there, but it was serviced by Eagle Electronics on Lovers Lane in Manchester. The second one we're going to do looks like it's in a bit of a sorry state. As you can see, it's got a load of stickers under the bottom there from somebody who was doing something programmed. We never know, there might be a special kernel inside there that's changed all the settings in there, but until we get that up and running we'll never know. It's also got a number 8 key that's broken off, so we're going to address that. Serial sticker's gone off the bottom, and it's another long board inside. So these have probably been into before. So we're just going to have to see what's what when we get in there. But first of all, we're going to have a look at this first one. Here, we'll start by putting the power in. Popping the aerial lead, always goes to the cartridge port that's aerial lead. You see the screen pulse then, that's just because it's picking up an earth through the system. I'm going to flick the switch, and what have we got? As you can see from the image on the screen, it's all garbled. If I do change it a couple of times on the power switch, things do alter a little bit, which can indicate to a faulty on and off switch. If it gets a little bit of resistance in there, then it can change the 5-volt line into the memory, hence giving you graphical glitches. So what I'm going to do first with it is I'm going to pop in a dead test cartridge and see if that makes a difference. Right, so I've got some cartridges out here, two different cartridges. I don't have Jupiter Lander. Jupiter Lander is a really good cartridge. Jupiter Lander will actually bypass everything. So if something that's got a black screen, it just forgets everything, ignores everything. So long as the CPU is working, the game should boot. So I'm just going to try a couple of cartridges in to see if it makes a difference. We've got something going on, look. You see all the screens changed. We've now got colours, different patterning on there. And press F4, F1, think something changed, look. There's characters, something going on in there, clearly. You can see sprites bouncing about. So there's something happening there. At best guess, I would have said possibly PLA, U17. It could be character. And potentially the multiplexing chips down by the RAM. But we'll just try another one. And shut that up. So another one. Didn't get it to do anything. There's something happening, look, when I'm typing. There was something changing on the screen, but it's stopped now. Yeah, look. Whatever that cartridge is. That was Simon's Basic. Simon's Basic is basically a cartridge that takes over the kernel ROM. So if that had switched on now and perfectly fine, that would have shown you that the kernel ROM was damaged because that takes over the kernel ROM. Wizard of War don't work anyway, so I won't bother with that one. Music Composer. It's changed again. There's something happening, it is getting a response from the keyboard. Last one, I'm not doing any more then. Oh, I might just try that other one up there first. Yeah, we're getting something. Could be a multiplexing chip, or I've just had a thought and thought that it could quite possibly be the character ROM. But we'll have a look Sarge in a bit. The SID's sounding well, so we know the SID chip's working. So that's a good do. So at least we know the SID chip's singing away inside there. So all that's left to do now is pop it open and let's see what chips we've got socketed, which chips we've not got socketed, and see which ones we can swap out to see if it makes a difference. So we only have 3 screws in the bottom. I'll just pull the power cord. The aerial. So we only have 3 screws in the bottom. One there, one there, one there. The clips on the back here are latched. Be very careful when you lift them up, because you lift the front up, tip it back carefully, and you'll hear these clips unclip and snap. If you're a bit too rough with them, they'll just shatter, break off, because all the plastic's gone quite brittle with its age. So I'm going to pop them screws out, get rid of the top of it, and I'll be back. But, you know. Right, so I've got the top off this board. I've gone through it, and unfortunately everything's socketed in there. There's no point in swapping the CPU out because we know it works. We've got some display on there. There's no point in pulling SID out because SID can give you a black screen, but this ain't got the black screen, it's got garbly screen. I have swapped the VIC chip over just to try and test that to make sure that it wasn't that. I've gone through and piggybacked some of these chips to see if I get a different effect. No. I've piggybacked the multiplexers down here. Didn't get much of an effect. I did from that one once, but didn't get really as much as what you would expect. So I'm starting to have a feeling that it might still be the PLA. It's socketed in there. I say I have piggybacked it and it didn't seem to make much difference, but it could be that it's pulling it down and pulling it away. Sound chip's really nice. That sounds really good. So I'm going to have to dig into this one a little bit deeper a bit later on. So I just think for now we'll just put this one to set on one side and we'll pull Tony's other one and we'll make a start and see what we can find with that one. So okay, here we're back with the second Commodore 64 from Tony. A little bit beaten up with the key missing. 64 badge coming off up top of there. I'm not sure what Tony's going to do with these. He did mention that they were going to restore or modify or just customise one of them, so I'm not going to go into too much detail with repairing on the cases. I will repair the key though, as I said earlier on in the video. I've already taken the screws out the bottom, so we'll just pop this one open now and have a quick look and see what's going on inside this one. So that's got keyboard removed now. Again, just like the other one, it's the same thing. This one's it's the same 407 motherboard, Rev C, or am I mistaken? No, yeah, we're a Rev C in the other one. That's good. We've got an identical board with even less chips socketed. So on this board we've only got one chip that's socketed, and that's the SID. I'm just going to plug this in now and just see what it does. I know the keyboard's off it now, but it makes no difference to be fair with the keyboards in or out. So I'll flick this one on. Oh! So this one was a black screen that did nothing at all. And basically all I've done is disconnect it. You can see the key, I can actually see the key cursor flashing up the other side, on that far side. So we have got some form of response on here. Interesting. Where's that? Let me just pop this cartridge in and let's see if we can see if we've got the SID singing on this one as well. I'm not going to get that because I've got no keyboard. Yeah. It's a colours change. So when you put your keyboard connectors back on, if you look on the bottom of the connector, you can see there in the light. Yeah, there you go. You can see there's a blank just on the left hand side there. So that goes to the one closest inside there. Put that back on. Don't need to go out with it really, I'm just going to pop that on. See if we get some sound out of the SID. Yeah. So it sounds like the SID's working in this one again. We are getting characters on the screen again. A little bit of 1970s Morse code. So this one's looking very, very similar to the other one, where we've got audio, we've got keyboard response, but we've just got a little bit of garbly on the screen. Everything else seems to be working fine. I'm just going to flick that off again. I'll put one of these cartridges back in just to see what it's doing. I won't put Simon's Basic in. I won't go for Music Composer. God knows what that is. We'll just stick that one in. So we've got actions going on in there. But again, it just looks very, very similar, doesn't it, to the other one that we've just been working on. Everything's reacting exactly the same way. The only difference with this one is slightly, is when we first switched it on that we could notice that they were actually, just knock that off a minute, you could actually see the cursor flashing. In the background. But not this time. Completely changed again. So we actually got something before when that keyboard was disconnected. No, we're not getting anything on that one. So, again, it looks like we're going to have to bugger off and desolder these PLAs just so we can get some sockets in there and test them properly. So I'm going to have to replace both sockets on both these boards. So I'm not going to bore you with watching me desolder all this, like with the desolder pump. I'll just come back to you and show you the repair after I've just changed the sockets. So yeah, so we'll see you back shortly once I've changed these sockets and we can have a look and see if it's made a difference. Okay, catch you in a bit. So, just before I go ahead and put sockets in, I just wanted to check the voltage lines on the voltage regulators. I don't know if you can see on camera or not on there. You probably won't be able to see it, but there's like a big lump on top of that voltage regulator there, and we're a little bit unsure as to what that is. So we'll just flick that back on. So I've got that set there. Go to the voltage regulator, whether you can see on camera or not. Nope, getting you completely off the camera. I've gone down to the voltage regulator. All I'm doing is putting my earth on there. Bring that up there so you can see a little bit. You get the earth off the tin shield. Earth's an earth. You can pick up earths anywhere you like. So that pin's giving us 5 volt, which is absolutely spot on. The centre one will give us nothing because it's earth anyway, and that's the input voltage, which we've got 11 volts coming out of that voltage regulator. The 12 volt regulator over here, right leg. We're getting 12 volts, left leg, 21 volts, plenty of voltage there. So just check, make sure that the RAM's getting decent voltage. So you've got these 4 here, one there, one there, one there, one there, and the 4 underneath them, and that's your full RAM. Pin 3 with 4.5 volts, so they're thereabouts. Yeah. 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 So we're getting 4.5 volts across the RAM chips. Nothing. No, we've got 5 volts. We've got 4.9 on that one. Voltage has gone up, hasn't it? The voltage has gone up. Over. What RAM chip? We're getting 4.5 a minute ago on there. Now we're getting 5 volts. Very strange. No, we still don't get any difference. Just check that again. What? $4.5. What about? What's that about? All it is, touch that, look. You see it changing every time I touch it? Yeah? That's because with the multimeter. That's because the multimeter's absorbing some of the power to that RAM chip, so it changes the effect. So with doing that, it changing on there, tells me that the problem lies quite potentially inside that RAM chip, especially with it changing, because we've got Commodore Basic across the top of the screen now. Something's coming back. Something happened then, didn't it? Almost there. There's something just not quite. Ooh. And that's strange. Now it's coming back as it's getting warmer. Oh, all I did is touch these RAMs down here with my fingers, and things change. So not actually. If I stop doing that, you're missing it all on screen here really, but you just flick that up. So you can see on screen now we've actually got like a boot screen, and then it's gone back off again. Seems to be changing. Playing around with the RAM. Nothing's really getting hot as such. Going back to gobbledygook. Just feel temperature on that now. And that's it. Yeah. Getting hot.
It's getting hot, isn't it?
So it's almost getting hot to the point where you can't keep your finger on. It's getting really hot now, I can't keep my finger on there. Let's just pull that SID. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but pull it anyway. Just protect your backside, Mr. SID. Oh. It's getting better and better. I must be scaring it because I haven't done anything. I've done absolutely nothing and we've got a cursor back. So, what my head's telling me now is it's not RAM, because you can clearly see it's working. You guys can't see on camera. Let's zoom in a little bit, I'll just try. If you look on the left hand side of the screen, you can see that characters. You can see the garble down that side. So it's getting a little bit less and less and less. I suspect when this thing gets turned off and cools back off again, all that garble will return. So I've got a feeling that it's one of the CIA chips up at the top side here. With them getting warm, things are expanding and connecting and making it okay. I've had it before where I've tried and tried for garble screens, tried all the time, tried the PLA, root SID, changed the character ROMs, I've changed the multiplexers, I've checked the RAM, colour RAM chips, I've changed them. And it turned out to be one of these control chips that controls the serial and the keyboard controls and the joystick ports through the CIAs. I would probably think that it's the right CIA, because the left CIA that's near the keyboard connector generally controls the keyboard and the joystick ports, because that goes through that same one. So it may even possibly be that one. It seems to have done a reset all on its lonesome for some reason. Let's just flick off and flick on again, see if we get a nice clean screen. We're back up and running perfectly. Don't like it at all. Some of you might be thinking, yeah, swap board. Seriously. No, I haven't. So that's in goes the cartridge. And we've still got a lot of garble. Let's try a different one. Oh, that don't work anyway. Simon's basic. It won't do anything, it'll just give you a different boot screen really, but it'll bypass the kernel. It's still giving a lot of garby. So I'm quite happy that we're still getting garbled screen, because otherwise we'd be absolutely lost. Now, what leads me to believe it's that CIA again is the cartridges go through the CIA. So that's why you've got garbly on there. It's disappearing again, look. It's weird. Right. So, now we've got some form of screen. I'm going to pop the dead test cartridge in and let's see what that comes up with. If I can get it in there. Just fire the dead test up. Let's see what that comes up with. So we've got flashing, it didn't even boot in the dead test. So what do you think we've got there? Is that a 1? Is that a 1 flash? Because normally you get a, if it were 2. What do we think? I think that's a 1 flash. Let's just go find out and see what a 1 flash is on the dead test cartridge. Right, I just thought, just before I change them sockets, I'd just plug everything back in, because we were getting some response on screen and it looked like it were actually working, it were clearing itself out, but when you're using the cartridge it just went all garbly again. I did run the dead test cartridge on it. It did tell me U12. I piggybacked to a RAM chip. Didn't make any difference, to be fair. And then all of a sudden it stopped giving me flashing codes and it's back alive again. So that's telling me that there is something warming up that's kicking this off, and it's not liking it. So I'm just going to fire this up now with the dead test cartridge all wired up, and we get a perfect screen that goes ping, and then it starts going graphical. Look, and you can see that on the camera. It's all going a bit graphical on there. Sorry about the flashy. I hate that. I'm just hoping it just stops messing about and gives us a clear screen once it warms up a little bit. We might be able to get some readings from the dead test cartridge. That's finished on there. I can't read what it's saying anymore, but apparently we've got a cartridge and controller port 2 bad. That screen clears up. On the bottom right corner of the screen you see 2 times. They should be identical. That's CIA timing. So you've got one down there that says 50 AM, 50 PM. Well, one's in AM and one's in PM. No particular reason, they should both say AM. Now it's changed, look, it's gone 1 AM, 1 PM. But it's telling us that U1's bad, U2's bad, and U18. I'll just pack my nose over the top there and try and find out which they were. So I'm just going to keep leaving that to run over and over and over again for a minute. Right, so the CIA chip that's outside of the ports is U1. So it's showing us U1's bad. It's telling us U2's bad as well. And U18. So we'll have a look around that board and see if we can find U18. 9, 17. Ah, and of course, U18 is a SID chip, which is going to show bad because we removed it. Big telltale sign there. So, like I was saying previously, I have my suspicions on being on these CIA chips being bad. And at the moment, if you ignore the U18, it's pointing to them 2 CIA chips up there. So we're going to have a bit of work on that one. But we're going to have to desolder both them CIA chips and get them socketed and try ours in there. So just before I do that, what I'm going to do is just to test these CIA chips down here. See, the timings are still right down there. It's gone to 2 minutes 16 AM PM. I'm fairly sure they shouldn't have AM PM. They should be identical. So what I'm going to do just for a minute, I'm going to take you off camera. I'm just going to pull Tony's board out of the way, and I'm just going to plug in the good test board, and let's see if these CIAs on this test board come up okay, and then at least we've got somewhere to work from then, haven't we? Okay, so I'm just going to do that now, and I'll be back as soon as I've done that, and we'll run a test on it. Right, so back again. This is with the test board. We know this board's all good. It doesn't have a SID chip in there. I haven't put one in, but if you want me to, I'll put Tony's SID chip into that one, just so it's get rid of the U18 errors. And let's see if these CIA chips come up okay. So that's it. We're up and running again. We're up and running again. Let's see how we go. Oh yeah, if you look at the CIAs at the bottom, we've got AM, PM. Okay, maybe that's okay. Timings are okay. 9 seconds from them. Testing RAM. So that's complicating. Look, bad. U1, U2. So that's telling me that them CIA chips are faulty. And there goes the SID chip. So we'll pop that back out and put that back in there. So just going to pull the SID back out because it's not needed in this board anyway. Quite surprised to see it coming up with them errors on them chips. Which could have been the reason why it were leading us off when I would piggybacking them. Because I piggybacked them with these chips, didn't I?
Yeah.
So what I've done now is I've just pulled out these two CIA chips that were showing up as bad on my test board. I don't understand why too really. I've popped two more in. Let's just have a quick look and see what they do. Come on, tell me they're okay. Almost there. Still come up with U19 as bad. It's still coming up with U1. Still telling me on ports are faulty. How bizarre. How? That's strange, is that? That's weird, is that? Unless it's them sockets. It's quite possibly these bad sockets on this board, to be fair. You notice on that board it's got a posted note and we've just flicked straight off for some reason. So that's not, see what I mean? I'm not even doing anything really, to be fair, on that test board. All I did is pin down there, lift the corner. You know. But on the sticker on the top of this board here, it says all good apart from the CIA's or bad sockets. Isn't that weird? How bizarre. That was really weird. Now I've moved from 264's from Tony's onto repairing. Yeah. We'll just lift her out and see what she's doing. Yeah. Bizarre. Might just be bad socketed. Bad connection maybe. Who knows? Yeah, that didn't work. Alright, so here we are. This is back with Tony's board. I've socketed these two chips. You could see before on the test when we were running them on the dead test cartridge and test harness that they were showing up as both U1 and U2 CIA's chips faulty. Even with these chips in the test board, it was still coming up with U1, U2 as being faulty. So I've popped them out now and I've put sockets into the board and popped these two chips back in there because I wasn't over keen on the sockets on the other board, on the test board. And it felt as though they've been in and out there a little bit, so they'll be a bit worn, so we'll be starting to cause problems. So I'm just going to move you back up to the screen now, and then I'm going to switch this one on, and then we'll have a look and see what it does. And straight away you can see there, we've come up nice and clean. We've got nothing on there, no characters kicking around all over the screen anywhere. So that's all looking really good. Happy with that. So what I might do in a minute is take the old CIA, two CIA chips out, what they took out of the board over there, clean the pins up, pull one of them CIAs out and put the chip back in, and run the test harness again, and let's find out which CIA chip is actually faulty. Then at least we've got one spare, and I don't have to charge Tony for two. I think Tony would prefer a bit of charging for one rather than two. So you can see on the dead test there, everything's coming up nice and clean, all good. Sid's singing away there, going through all its voices. That's running well through there. And then we're going round on the next count, which will just repeat the test and go round and round and continue and continue and continue. What I will do, but I won't do it on screen, is a little bit later on when all this is back together, I'll plug it in with the test harness and I'll leave it sat there for about 3 hours, just running over tests continuously, just to make sure that we're setting a soak test. So it's allowing it to warm up, get itself used to everything. Just pretty much so it can settle down and see if we've got any other issues with it after the fact. So Tony, that looks like it's your first one that's fixed. All I can say is, they don't beat me. So, I'm going to put this to one side. Let me just shut that noise up for a minute, guys. So I'm just going to put this one to one side for the minute, and then we'll pull out the second board and see if it's the same thing. Alright. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other board. I'm going to desolder the 2 CIA chips, and then we'll come back to it and see what that one's doing. Right, this is the board 2 of Tony's second one, and what I've done is socketed the CIA, both the CIAs. Didn't make any difference. I chase swapped the CIAs around, but different CIAs didn't make a difference, still did the same thing. I've piggybacked the kernels, basic ROMs. I've swapped the 6510. I've touched up all the solder points at the back of that 6510 that was bad. I've socketed the PLA, tried another PLA, still exactly the same. I've tried the video chip, SID chip's been out. We've come down and done all the multiplexing chips down here, piggybacked to see if I can get a difference of a reaction. There's nothing. So the only thing left for me to do really is to drop these out, 3 out, socket these 3, and change them chips and see whether it makes a difference to it. As you can see probably on the camera, on the screen, this one it's still giving me the same picture. You can actually see the dead test cartridge running in the background, and the SID chip will start singing in a moment or so. We're going to have to go back to this one. Not finished yet, it's not beating me yet. We're just running out of time today to continue with it. The other one that we've finished for Tony, that one just needs keyboard cleaning up. That one's pretty much done and ready to go back. And we'll pick this one up a little bit later on. I think I might do another video during the week where I'm going to show you the strip down of the keyboard, clean up all the contacts. We've got 2 of them to do really, and one of them's got a key missing out of it, so we need to strip that one, so we may as well clean that one and do that one again. Off goes the SID chip. But that's it for now. So we've got one prepared C64 that's back up and running, and we can play games and everything's okay there. Just got a faulty keyboard. The other one, we're still in the same position as what we were when we started on it. Although we've done a lot of work, we have found a lot of issues on the board. So we're getting closer to the point of where it is. But it won't beat me. And I'll see you later on in the next episode. So once again, thank you for watching 8-Bit Retro Refix, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.